times when things happen on TV and we pray very loudly that it's not a black person, it's not a Latino person. We hope they've got at least a college education. Those are very real conversations that are happening in America. When Obama was running for president, he spoke directly into a camera to his daughters, Sasha and Malia, and he said, "I love you both more than you can imagine." He went on to promise he'd be doing work in the future for women's voices and that they would not be silenced, as they had in the past. And in many ways, they haven't. But what was he really saying? Didn't he also say in that comment, we will not let our history die, and we need to step forward and ask all the questions? So sometimes it's about race, and sometimes it's about gender. And amazingly enough, discrimination does not discriminate. It doesn't make a distinction. And until we as a society reform all of the pieces of society, all of the public policy components, all of the pieces around juvenile justice and health care, we really will not have equality in this country. The question we should be asking ourselves is not whether we are if we are a post-racial society, but what do we value to get to a society that is truly equal? What will we be willing to give up in order to get there? In our own comfort zones, what are we willing to do? Because to get to levels of equality, each and every one of us will have to give up something we have earned, worked for, achieved, dreamt of. This year, there were 102 women who ran for seats in the General Assembly. 59 of them currently serve. It sounds impressive. They make up 31% of the elected officials in the General Assembly. But women make up 51% of the state's population. There are 15 African American legislators in the General Assembly, 8%. There are 8 Latinos, 4%. 3 out of 4 of the constitutional officers are women, and only 1 is a woman of color. There's plenty of room for us to get involved in making changes to public policy. We are constantly busy and running around in circles around that conversation of what we need to be doing and how we need to get it done and how do we inspire people to make that happen. The reality is, we must make it happen. It's not just about showing up at the voting polls once a month, once a year, once every 4 years. It's not just about asking in our classrooms and challenging our students. It's about running for political office. It's about asking the tough questions. It's about requiring a legitimate answer to all that we are doing. So I want to conclude with this before I open the floor for questions. Urban legend sums it up perfectly, so I put this to you. Let us not be lulled into a sense of complacency due to the recent political success of President Obama. Racism still exists in our country. Like all things, nothing is perfect on this planet or in the world. We have an obligation to be active on issues that simply cannot be ignored. I'm going to open the floor for questions. Thank you very much. Thoughts, questions?